Hi, I'm Dennis Weiss. Welcome to Our Town. We have a really cool Our Town today, so you're looking at the people on camera and you're saying, that's Tim Reeves. He's the acting director of the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum and Boyhood Home. How you doing?
Good, Dennis, thank you.
This person you don't know unless you know Patrick Lynch. So Patrick is going to tell us what his title is, and then we're going to talk about why we're all together. Patrick, tell them who you are.
Hello, I'm Patrick Lynch. I'm the Commander of Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association 211, but I'm here today as a member of the Board of Directors of Let's Promote Hope, a community service program. It's a grassroots program that's trying to lower the numbers of suicides amongst veterans and our fellow Americans.
Let's Promote Hope. I think maybe Tim has heard me say this because I think we've talked about a topic like this around the edges a time or two. But you know, suicide is a reflection of the absence of hope.
Absolutely. And that's why we chose that name, is Let's Promote Hope. And it's funny you said that you went around the side, because it is a very difficult subject to broach as an individual. It's a very difficult subject to broach as a group. And so our message to get out there is hope.
Tim is kind of, he's been on camera with me a lot, and our patient viewers have seen me quite a lot probably, so they're a little immune to my bluntness. But I think when you're talking about suicide, it demands directness. I think it facing the issue head on and the answers head on. If you're not doing that, you're probably not making progress. So, you know, we're here at the Eisenhower Library today in one of their training rooms, and my absolute favorite picture of Eisenhower is on the wall behind me. So, you know, Eisenhower was a great military diplomat, and we've talked lots of stories about that. But he was also a man of direct action where problems were. So he's this picture of D-Day here with 101st Airborne. The 101st Airborne is the same group he sent
into Little Rock
to make sure that 8 children made it to school that day. He was a man of direct action for a direct problem. Suicide in veterans, what are the numbers? Don't come across on TV, but it's a big problem.
It is a big problem. We have been making headway. The military, the Veterans Affairs was tasked with doing a study in 2014, and at that time the number was right around 22. We think the number's down to about 19, but 19 a day. 19 a day. Yeah. It is a very large number, but we're glad that it's coming down. And with suicide, there's oftentimes stigma with it, so people, that number is probably higher because people would say, could we say that was something else? So again, it goes back to it's a touchy subject, but I'm glad that you're very blunt about it, because that's what we need to be. We need to be blunt. We need to take it on head on. We need to have a very holistic approach to how we overcome these numbers and what can we do to change that. We like to say that a person that dies from a heart attack, there was indicators long before the heart attack. Now every person has different indicators, but we can't just treat the heart attack. So we can't just look at an attempted suicide and start the treatment there. We need to treat it early and expose it. And our message is hope, because really, we've talked about this earlier. A 2-finger wave really means a lot. In Kansas, we get that 2-finger farmer wave. Right. You'd be very surprised how far that can go. And we need to have more people doing a 2-finger wave, because little things like that are going to make a difference.
Okay, Tim, I'm going to bring why you're in here back in for a second. Sure. And I'm probably going to spend the most time talking to him. But why have you lent the name of Dwight David Eisenhower in this facility to this project?
Well, you know, the obvious, Eisenhower's military background, but also his concern for the troops. I mean, throughout the war, you can see how heavily that weighed on his mind, because he always knew when he was committing troops to battle that a certain percentage weren't coming back, sometimes even a very large percentage. And he was always very mindful of that. There's a documentary that he made about D-Day, and he's back on the beaches with Walter Cronkite reminiscing. And he says, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about, you know, the young men that were lost and how they never had the chance to live a full life the way his son John did. John graduated from West Point on D-Day in 1944, and John lived, and in fact lived to be 91. And so Ike was always, again, very mindful of the sacrifice that was made in battle, and then the price that continued to be paid after the war. In fact, there was a special commission led by General Bradley on the status of Veterans Administration and the treatment of veterans in the 1950s. So, again, something always very large in Ike's thinking.
It goes without saying amongst us, but maybe not to somebody who's just tuning in, but lending the weight of the name and the institution to a project is a meaningful thing.
It really is. And the name of Eisenhower, as we know, has risen so much in the public with his new rating as president, and of course the ongoing interest in World War II. We're glad we can lend that sort of name to the project. And it's an honor, for us too. But anything we can do to help promote hope is something we want to do very much.
For me listening and Sam calling and saying, would you shoot this interview, it fell right into of course Eisenhower's doing this. Of course he's doing this. This is a perfect choice. I mean, that's a decision that he would have made, therefore they're making it. But this is about publicity, so we say it again and say it again.
Sure.
But the validity of Dwight David Eisenhower towards a veterans action group is natural, normal, and a terrific thing to do. So let's talk a little bit about your event, Patrick, and then we'll keep going on how this problem exists and how we make it go away.
Well, I do want to say that to double down on the having the honor of being a part of or being able having the Presidential Library's name, Dwight D. Eisenhower, associated with us. It was absolutely an honor, and it is about helping us get publicity. We can't make the difference that we want to make if we don't have the publicity out there, and it's not. And the doors that have been opened because of having the association with the Eisenhower would not likely have been opened had we not had that association. So we truly, profoundly thank you for that, and it is carrying on a tradition that would have been something that I believe that the Supreme Allied Commander General Dwight D. Eisenhower would have been behind. So with that, we have multiple events going on throughout the year, and we're gaining more events. We're going to come out to anybody that'll ask us. We'll come out to the schools. We'll talk to your schools. Our message is a positive message. It isn't a message of doom and gloom. As scary as a subject it is, as touchy as a subject as it is, if we have hope, if we have laughter, if we have care, we have concern, then we're going to make a difference in these numbers. And that's what our goal is. When we come out to some place and we have a talk, we're going to do some push-ups, we're going to have some laughs, we're going to hug a little, we may cry a little, because sometimes we have testimonials. We have the widows or spouses, survivors of their own attempts have come out and spoke, and we encourage that too, because it's a holistic approach.
So this is not a event. This is events, opportunity. The project, Let's Promote Hope, is a ongoing project. It's something you're going to do as long as the opportunity to do it exists. Absolutely,
and we hope that we don't have to do it sooner rather than later because of the subject. But yes, absolutely, it isn't just, Let's Promote Hope isn't just about veterans. That is our focus because we're a veterans group. But veterans fought for America. They fought for all Americans. So part of the demise of a veteran is seeing their country in the turmoil that it's in. And so it matters to us. And when we see the suicide rates are going up amongst all Americans, and that's statistically true. Suicide rates are going up throughout all Americans. So why is that, and how can we make a difference? And we can't take I like to say we can't take a top-down approach to this. We've got to take a bottom-up. It's going to be our neighbors and our friends and our family that keep that hope alive in us and make us know that, hey, tomorrow's another day, man, and it's going to be better than today. and every day should be better. And that's where we look at it from.
Well said. Well, folks, we're going to take a short break right here. We'll be back talking to Tim and Patrick about promoting hope, and we'll expect you to be here to watch us when we come back. Be right back.
Eagle Communications is a leader in advertising. We can put your business in front of thousands of customers during the most watched shows, including local and national sports. Let our employee owners target customers with affordable advertising in over 40 popular TV networks and online with Facebook, Google, and YouTube. From crafting your message to video production, let our team help your business grow. Call today, 785-200-6030. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Hi, Dennis Weiss, Eagle Communications, back with you. Tim Reeves, Patrick Lynch, and we're talking about a tremendously important subject. We're centered on let's promote hope for veterans to raise awareness about suicide numbers in veterans as well as the general population.
Sure.
But maybe more importantly, let's go do something about that.
Right.
Because you're saying, you're raising your hand as a group.
Absolutely.
And saying we can come and talk to you about this topic, and we can speak to you with compassion and with knowledge, and we bring a message of hope. And so you're looking for opportunities. Patrick.
Absolutely, we sure are. We would like to get out there, and again, that goes back to why we partnered with the Eisenhower Museum. That would open the doors. We need to be able to speak to the communities. We need to be able to come out there. We are. One thing that we're very proud of and we think is very important and has also helped open these doors is we're 100% nonprofit to the point that we don't want money. We will not take money. We do not ask for money. Nobody associated with us is asking for money because it is a commendable thing for people to donate money. Absolutely. If you're donating to causes, absolutely, we support that 100%. But oftentimes, when you look into the history of individual suicides, at the end of the day, money is often a culprit, especially in your adults. It's just the nature of the beast, and you like to be blunt, we do too. If money is the problem, then we can't bring it as part of the solution.
Yeah.
Okay, because we can't go in and pay the bills for people. We can't just do that. That's individual attention, and we're trying to really kind of get to the bigger heart of the problem, and that doesn't require money all the time. We can do things as family.
I think we're in the middle of the NCAA March Madness thing, and so everybody somewhat knows what goes on in a basketball game, and so I've always heard this in sports, and I say it myself in sports. I used to coach, but I say it more in life. You need to play the game you're good at.
Roger.
So I'm saying, in ways maybe somebody out there can connect to, is there are a lot of groups who work on funding issues within the general population, including veterans. I think you're the first guy I've sat next to that said, we have a group of people who are going to go face to face, belly to belly with as many people as we can, and we're going to talk about hope as the antidote for suicide.
Absolutely. And you know, the lack of funding or the need not to have funding is very important. We recently sat down with the director of the Eastern Kansas Veterans Administration. And that message alone, that, hey, we're not looking for money, this is what we'd like to do. He sat further up in his chair. He listened to us a little more. When we presented our proposals to make things better, his ear was more genuine. We were saying, hey, we have these materials, and we have materials out that we can give to you. We have posters you can put up on your wall that have these 1-800 numbers that are that we think are just little tools that will help in your toolkit to make a difference in each individual's life. But we were able to add a little credence to our statement because we were saying, hey, no money. So, and that was a very positive meeting that we had with the Eastern Kansas director of the VA.
Well, there's nobody we at Eagle Communications love partnering more with than the Eisenhower Presidential Library Museum, both the institution and the people. We have been doing, they're our longest partner, and they are also our partner that goes direct to the heart of the guy who kind of makes this thing get up in the morning and go sit down in front of the camera sort of thing. It's why I do what I do, is what I'm trying to say. But I will tell you on camera today, if you will provide us information, your graphics, the dates and times, numbers, and think of it in advertising terms, if you will provide that to us, we will provide a persistent platform to inform our market area of the things you do, why you do them, and when they can be availed of at places and times. That we're happy to contribute that to you. Would love to be a partner to do that.
That's outstanding, and that is outstanding. And because of our message, I think, and the seriousness and nature of it, we've found that's a fairly common theme, and we're very glad. I mean, I'll be honest, it's been a very well-received message throughout the communities. When we're going up to Topeka on April 22nd. When we reached out, we thought, well, we're not sure what we're going to be able to do here. We really just want to get the patients out and show them that there's people out there that care about them. And now we're going to have fancy cars there. We have the support of the VA. It's a day at the VA, and we're going to promote hope in conjunction with the VA, which is outstanding because sadly, much of the press that the VA is getting has been very negative. Whereas my chapter, I don't want to talk about numbers, but I have a fairly large chapter within the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. More than 80% of my members receive care at that VA, and more than 80% of that number enjoy their care, and they think it's great care. But yet, if you were on the outside looking in, you would think that the VA is not doing a very good job. So we want to go up there and make sure, and we want to turn that message around. And if Eagle can help us with that,
we could.
We very much appreciate that.
Would. You know, I think as I'm listening here, and we've said hope at least 100 times in this conversation already, and I know there's somebody out there that is listening and watching that has a far more serious perspective on this conversation than most of the audience does. And they're that person who has just heard on TV that hope is both the problem, if you don't have it, and the answer if you do. And they're sitting there wondering, does that apply to me? Does that answer why I feel how I feel? You know, so I look at you and I say, you know, Patrick, it's impossible to give hope to the hopeless unless you have hope to share.
That's right. We agree.
You do. Okay. So
we agree. And you know, hope is a funny word because you'll see sometimes in this great world that we live in, they say hope is not a method. Well, I don't know. You can hope, faith, call it what you will. And we've said that since our first event here on 22 January that we did. You can substitute the word hope or faith. We're not going to be picky. Sure. You make your choice. Yeah. I'm a man of faith, and I have hope that you have faith, and I have faith that you have hope. And if you don't have it, we'll provide it to you.
So let's say it both ways on camera. I'm a man of hope.
I'm a man of faith.
And I'm also a man of faith.
And I'm also a man of hope.
Right. So pick one.
That's right. That's
pick
right.
one. But pick one.
Right, because the task is too big. Right.
Without one, you just have a lot of empty methods. So the hope is not a method. I don't buy that either, neither do you.
No.
So hope is exactly a method.
Right.
Look, Dave's got a wide shot of the two of us, I can tell by the way he's pointed that camera. Look at the guy on the screen behind us. What do you think Dwight David Eisenhower was doing with the 101st Airborne in that picture? He was passing on hope.
Oh, absolutely. As a combat veteran myself, I can tell you that the leadership that somebody like and that's why it's so significant to have been able to partner with the Presidential Library. I mean, the speeches, I've read speeches and I've heard speeches from him, and they're so inspirational as leaders. And I've been fortunate in my career to have worked with some great leaders. And those are the speeches. And every time you went out on a mission, I don't care how insignificant it was, good leaders provided the base and the hope and to, hey, you're going out to do this, come back, and come back a better, you know, with the mission accomplished. And yeah, so it's outstanding.
Tim, this conversation, there are sweat marks on the table where I am laying my hands, and I'm thinking to myself as I looked down and saw them, I do not do that. I don't do that. It's not because I'm nervous. It's because I'm excited. It's because this is exciting stuff. This is something that goes to the heart of the largest problem in the world, and that is the loss of life due to loss of hope. Whether it's all the natural resources problems around the world, but you know, even war itself is an expression of the lack of hope between two factions of people, whether it's geopolitical or whether it's neighbor to neighbor across the back fence.
Amen.
So here we are. You know, folks, we're wrapping this up, and we have the weight of the Eisenhower Presidential Library. We have Acting Director Tim Reeves, and all the staff here has raised their hands and said, we're in on this project. Ike would want us to express hope for veterans and hope to the greater community. Patrick Lynch is here saying not only do we believe all that, we're putting ourselves out there to bring this message to you. So you, if you're watching, and I know there are people who are very interested in this, there's some numbers down here on the screen about right here where Dave just stuck them in that's going to tell you how to reach this group. And feel free. Whether you're a school, church, social group, any other organization that cares about this topic, then call these folks and get Patrick involved. Patrick, so good to meet you and hear your story on camera. Godspeed, great work. What's there left to say, Tim?
Well, I think another reason we're so honored to partner with Let's Promote Hope is this is Ike's community. Abilene is Ike's community, and as Patrick and I were discussing, making these veterans feel like they're part of a community is very important to promoting hope. And we have so many veterans in this community because of Fort Riley being so nearby that it's, you know, something that really hits home to this institution too.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we've used up all of our time. I've had a tremendous opportunity to sit here with you today. Folks, the numbers on the screen, somebody needs to pick up a phone and start dialing and start getting these people to come see you. We're so happy that you're in our community, and we're so happy that we can bring this to you. I'm Dennis Weiss. I work for Eagle Communications. Patrick Lynch, Tim Reeves, we're wishing you a great day.